Hello. So, many years after we were last on the red sofa, we are bringing the red sofa back to come and talk to you. And Helen, Penny, and we wanted to bring you a little bit of positivity. There is so much bad news out there, making us all feel miserable and weighed down. And yet, if you look between the cracks, there's lots of positive stuff going on. So we thought we'd find out a few of the positive things and share them with you. Which leads us on. Helen's an animal person. She's a dog person. She has a dog story.
Lots of animals and chickens. The first good news is we're back. Just going to put that out there. The second bit of good news is I have been watching today a beautiful story about reseeding of wildlands, forests, woods in the UK. And the way they're doing it is the cutest ever. They are using dogs with little backpacks, cute enough in itself, and they're putting seeds in the backpacks and then just letting the dogs run. So it sort of mimics the work of what the wild wolves used to do way back before we started interfering. And the idea is that they can spread them a lot more randomly and naturally than we can. And it's a lot less work.
And cheaply.
Yeah. And they probably enjoy it a lot more than we do, to be fair. But it's not the first time that dogs have been used for this sort of thing. So there was another story about the Chilean, when all the fires in Chile, and they used dogs there to reseed all the burnt forests. So it's a fabulous, uplifting story. So you need to look at it, and we'll put the link in for you.
Fine.
What have you got for us, Penny?
Well, mine is in Cambodia. And it's about the Siamese crocodile. Now, the Siamese crocodile was thought in the wild to be extinct, literally as recently as 10 years ago. And there's been a reintroduction and careful monitoring and protection of them. These things are really cute. I don't know whether they're that cute when they get big, but they're... So certainly if you follow the link and look at the babies that are being hatched and listen to the noise they make, they're quite gorgeous.
It's worth it just for that little sound.
They've just had a hatching of 60 in one hatching they've just discovered, which is the biggest they found this century. It's huge. And so they're protecting them, monitoring and hoping for a full-on reintroduction of the Siamese crocodile.
And they are a magnificent creature, aren't they? When you look at the link, they're just incredible.
Oh,
beautiful looking things. So yeah.
And then we went on to the environment.
Yeah, then we moved from there to Ecuador. So this is a fabulous story. It's quite an old story, but it's re-emerged. And it's basically Ecuador has become the first place, it's the world's first place, to introduce constitutional rights for nature. So I think just recently the people of Ecuador have taken the government to task and about the pollution in one of their rivers there. And it's just a fantastic step forward. It's just recognising that we need to look after nature. We can't just keep throwing stuff at it without giving anything back. Nature gives us so much. We need to protect it. So that's a really interesting story as well. Really uplifting and really positive.
One of the things that struck me about that, in fact, was the fact that we're inclined to think that South America doesn't have any good environmental policies. And then you discover this huge policy for putting them way ahead of most other countries in the world comes from Ecuador. So I find that was quite humbling, if I'm honest. My environmental story is one you may be familiar with, and that's the Great Green Wall of Africa. And this is, for me, extraordinary, and it's kind of what made us start wanting to put this segment together, if you like. So the Great Green Wall of Africa is a response to the encroachment of the Sahara Desert. I know since my childhood I've been hearing about the Sahara getting bigger and bigger each year. And we hear about peoples that can't feed themselves because they can no longer grow crops and land just becoming desert. And what's happening is the United Nations and the United Food Programme, I can't remember what it's called, but follow the links and you will see it, have found this way, which is an ancient way of looking after the ground and preparing ground and planting in it. And they're using that and they're restoring the ground. And people who were having to leave home, go to the cities to scratch a living there and to find food there, are now starting to be able to stay at home because they're getting a proper variety of foods growing at home. The soils are being restored little by little. It is a huge project. It's going right the way from Senegal to Djibouti. I had to learn to say Djibouti.
She did.
For this bit. It's hugely ambitious, but it's also amazing. Follow the link, have a look.
And what I loved about that was it's the whole community working together with the scientists and everybody else that's bringing this project together, and they've got control back over the environment, and they are growing things for themselves. Yeah. And I love that, because sometimes I think people feel a little bit powerless, and it's sort of almost giving them the power back, isn't it? Yeah. So make sure you do watch it. It is really uplifting and lovely.
And while I've got your attention, and while we're talking about the value of planting things to restore soil, to restore ground, those of you that haven't heard of Ecosia, Ecosia, to be used as a search engine on your tablet or your phone or your computer, it's a search engine that plants trees, and I'm going to encourage you to use it. Kevin and I have been using it for years. We find it extremely secure, extremely usable, extremely functional, and yet we are planting the right trees for the right areas throughout the world. We're not planting monocultures. We're reinstating rainforests, woodland, all sorts, wherever it needs to be reinstated.
And we can put the link up for that as well.
We'll put the link up for that too.
And it's great because you can see, as you're using it, you can see how many trees have been planted, can't you? It clocks up, so it's really good. And as you were spelling that out, I thought we could probably make a song out of that, a bit like DISCO. ECOCIE.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll work on that.
We'll work on that one. Work in progress.
And we will see you next time.
Yeah. Keep smiling.
Take care. Bye.